All right. Hey, everybody. Marcus C. Williams here. We're going to be testing out a new microphone here. So I'm going to be here in your ear. There might be some background noise, but we're trying to figure out exactly how well this microphone works. And as we wait, as people start to come on online here, we're working on getting all the comments set up. So if you do want to comment, please drop a comment below. And let's see how the comments come in and the comments are working so we can pop those up on the screen as they pop through as well. So we got a couple of things going on we want to talk about that are happening very firmly in our nation. You know, we've got the issues that everything that's going on seems to right now be very anti-American, and that's a very serious issue. We've got people that are inside our country that are more and more so saying that they don't like our country, that they don't like what's happening here, and they're not from here. So this is a little bit of a problem. But that's not the real big whole issue. The whole issue starts off with the fact that not only are they not from here, they can go back where they came from. And that's serious. Like, you came here, you chose to come here. You don't need to be here. You are very much so welcome to go back to where you came from. They come here, they want to change everything about our country, the way that it is, the history, the culture, the direction that we're going as far as the focus. You see these people in New York City and stuff like that, pushing communism, pushing Marxism, pushing all of these different isms across our nation, including things like alphabetism and racism, culturalism, and all of this other nonsense to kind of really use buzzwords and tear down and tarnish our nation. And this is a big issue. And I want to hear what type of topics in relation to the anti American nonsense you want to hear talked about. So this week, we're going to do a number of different videos. So I need to hear from you guys. If you guys drop some comments, we'll talk about all of the anti American nonsense and issues that are going on that are facing us that you see that are going on in our country. All of these people that come here, they don't like our country, then they're welcome to go. And why can't we talk about that? Why do people get upset about that? If they're here in our country right now, I see you out there. Make sure you hit like and subscribe them and pop your comments up as they come in. As we talk about these issues, if you come to America, if you come to our country and you don't like our country, make sure you go see the door. You know, what do they say? Don't let the door hit you where the dog should have bit you. Okay? Because you don't need to be here. It's sad because for too many years, our nation has been going through a number of issues. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button and the subscribe button. I see a lot of you guys popping in, and thank you for the comments. I'm going to pop them all up as they come in. Be part of the conversation, so I'll pop your comment up, but hit the like and the subscribe button or the follow, depending on where you're watching. When we get people from other countries that are telling us that they want to destroy our country, destroy our government, that they hate America, and they're here in our country, living in our country. I mean, if we couldn't send them on a jumbo jet and throw them out the back with some parachutes on, I don't know what to tell you. We might as well strap them to a rocket to get them out of here because we need to teleport them as fast as we can get them to move. Because if you want to come to this country, if you want to talk down about this country, if you want to denigrate this nation, then you shouldn't be here. We've got a serious issue with a lot of people right now that are here in this country that have talked about all types of sordid things that they want to do to basically and essentially destroy our country from within. They want to destroy our country from within, but people don't want you to talk about that. The second that you start talking about that, they'll say, oh, well, you're racist or you're xenophobic or you're scared of this or you're scared of that. Man, I'm so sick and tired, bro. I'm so sick and tired of people telling me what I can say, what I'm not able to say, what I should say, right? Like, who are they to tell me what I should say and I should think in my country? You know, and some people are like, oh, well, you're black, they'll deport you. How are they going to deport me? Where are they going to deport me to? My family's been here for more than 10 generations. As far as we can trace it back, 10 generations. So what do you mean? Where are we going to go, bro? And this is the nonsense that these people, especially on the left will tell you all the time. Oh, well, you know, Trump hates you and they're going to deport you and all of this stuff. After they get those other people, they're going to come after you. Listen, you don't like America. You go. Get out. This is my country. I love my country. I think that it's the most best thing in the world. America, nobody can tell me anything wrong about my country. It is one of the greatest nations in the history of the world, not just the greatest nation in present time, greatest nation in the history of the world. And people seek to come to our nation from all across the world to try to gain a better life or to try to gain what they see as an option of success that they couldn't possibly have in their own countries. They come to this country to escape different issues like poverty, persecution, or just look for a better life. But there are people that come from all these other countries and have an issue with our nation. Can you make that make sense? Hit the like button, hit the share button, drop some comments. I'll pop your comments up. Because what we're seeing right now is when somebody comes here voluntarily, right? Like nobody's snatching these people from other countries and saying, oh, well, you need to be in the United States of America. That's not a real thing. But these people make it like it is a real thing, like it's supposed to be like any other country in the world. It's not. America has been uniquely blessed by the Lord our Father himself. Okay. And we see that. We see that every single day that we have the blessings of the Lord our Father and Jesus Christ. But people don't like that. So they come here and they want to turn our country into some Muslim paradise. They come here, they want to turn our country into some Hindu paradise. They tell you, oh, well, you know, you're anti-Islam or you're anti-Hindu or you're anti this or you're anti that. Do you know how Hindus treat Christians in India? Do you know how Christians are treated in Muslim nations? Like they kill us, they torture our people, they beat us in the streets, they spit on us, and they do everything else under the sun except call us a child of God. And we let all of these people in our nation. And then when somebody wants to stand up and say something, oh, you're not nice. You're mean. It's wrong. You shouldn't say anything that is against these people that are coming to this country that want to completely circumvent the history of our nation and change the way our culture works and push their religion into our society and tell us that we should accept it because we're a nation of religious freedom. So while you might say, okay, well, we're a nation of religious freedom, all right, which is there's a conversation to be had on whether that's actually a true thing or not. I'm not going to dive so deeply into that tonight, but we have an issue right now where we've got people that are largely from these sand nations, very specifically, right? Because we've got Muslims from all across the world, and we have less issues with Muslims from all across the world than we do these sand countries. Okay, we're talking Northern Africa, Saudi Arabia, these countries over here. Okay, the countries where they enslave Christians still today, to this day, to this day. Do you know that they still enslave Christians in these Muslim countries today in Northern Africa and in these other Arab countries? Can we talk about that? Do you know that they behead and beat and kill Christians in those Muslim countries? Can we talk about that? Do you know that every country that Islam has taken over, they have forced to convert to their religion, even if they were Christian nations? Do you know that? Can we talk about that? Is this not an important part of the conversation of what we are seeing every single day grow more and more and more? And people will tell you, oh, what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan is an isolated incident. Is it? I don't think so, because Egypt warned us about letting these people over here. The prince in the UAE warned us about letting these people over here. They said, y'all don't understand how Islam works. You don't understand these people, these Islamists, these extremists from over here. You shouldn't be letting them in, but what do? You let them in anyway. And this is what people really can't seem to comprehend, because we have such a benefit in our nation of this concept of safety and security that we do not realize how really bad and how awful people are across the world. And if we are not able to talk about it in our own country, in which we have free speech in, at least for the next couple of weeks, you know, that when will we talk about it? When it's too late? When they start to round us up as Christians? When are we going to talk about that? Now? Never, right? Because that's why we got to talk about it now. Drop some comments, hit some thumbs up, hit the like button, and definitely share this. So we see all of these other countries, right? And people come here from those other countries. So why do you seek to make our country like those other countries? Explain it to me like I'm 5. We don't want to be like those countries. I'm not going over to none of those countries. I went to the UAE one time, bro. One time. I will never go back. I was on the plane. We were getting ready to get off the plane. They said, eat all your food and drink all your drinks, because if you don't do it now on the plane, when you get off the plane, you're going to jail. You're going to jail for eating and drinking? Why would I go to jail for eating and drinking when I get off the plane? That sounds crazy to me, right? They said because it's Ramadan, so you can't eat or drink in the country because it's a Muslim country. Well, I'm not a Muslim. Ain't nothing about me Muslim. I'm not trying to be a Muslim. I'm not about to convert, not today, not tomorrow, not never. Okay? So you mean to tell me that because I'm in your country that I need to conform to what you have going on? Can you make that make sense to me? Okay? I'm not a Muslim, but because of the fact that it's your country, that it's a Muslim country, I need to conform to your way of life because you're in a Muslim country. But you come here to this country and try to Islamify our nation and tell us, oh, well, we should be accepting. Oh, well, we should care about your stuff and this, that, and the third, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's never been this way in the history of recent time, until we started letting more and more of these people from these Saracen nations, okay, from these sand Muslim nations into this country. And this is a very, very, very serious problem that's going on right now. And as we see that it's growing and it's continuing to be more of an issue, and that we see them opening more businesses, we see them opening more mosques, we see them continuing to grow in prominence in political positions, and we continue to see more and more of this happen in more places across our nation, in other cities and other things like that. We understand that there is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. But if we don't address it now, let me ask you, when will it be addressed? But you're mean, you're wrong, you're not nice, you should be accepting of other people's cultures. Well, hold on. I thought you told me I should be accepting of their religion. Which one is it? You want me to be accepting of their religion, or you want me to be accepting of their culture? You explain it to me like I'm 5. And they'll say, oh, well, you know, their religion is their culture. Well, aha. Their religion is their culture is what the problem is, because our religion is our culture of our nation. Okay. And as much as people want to say, oh, well, this isn't a Christian nation, we've never been a Christian nation, you're a lie. You're lying to yourself. You're trying to rewrite our history as a nation. And they'll say, oh, well, all of the people that were the founders, they weren't Christian. Well, that's just plain and flat out not true. Every single person that signed the Constitution was, and everybody except one that signed the Declaration of Independence were all Christian. Explain it to me. And none of them were Muslims. Not now, not never. And then now there's this new mythos where they want to say, oh, well, the Muslims were in deep relation with the United States of America since the beginning of America. You're absolutely right. The Muslims were in deep history ties to America. You know why? Because of the Barbary Wars over there, where they were attacking our ships in the Middle East when we were just a fledgling nation, And Thomas Jefferson was like, yo, why are you blowing up our ships? Why are you taking our ships and enslaving our American people? We don't have any beef with you. We don't have any problems with you. Okay. And they want to say, oh, well, you know, Muslims were always nice to America and it's so great. That's a lie. From the beginning, from day one, they were attacking our ships. They were locking up our people. They were taking our people from our ships and enslaving our people. That's why we had the Battle of Tripoli and we kicked their behinds. Okay? And we should have took all of Libya, if you ask me, but that's a whole nother conversation. And we're talking about back in this in the early 17 in the late 1800s. That's when this happened, Thomas Jefferson. So why can't we have this conversation? Nobody wants to have this conversation because you're bad, you're mean, you're wrong. You can't talk about this stuff. You can't talk about this stuff at all. Okay? And the second that you start, people will pin anything on you. Oh, well, you're anti-Islam. Well, Islam is anti-Christianity. Let's be very, very clear. Islam is anti-Christianity. Go to a Muslim country. They don't mess with Christians. Okay? Especially the sand countries. They really don't mess with us. Like I said, they told me that they're going to put me in jail if I get off the plane because I drink some water because it's Ramadan. You crazy. I'm not Muslim. If I want to drink water and it's Ramadan and I'm not Muslim in a Muslim nation, why can't I drink water? Right? But you mean to tell me that all of them can come over here and we got to change our culture to be more accepting and approving of them, their way of life and their culture? Absolutely not. They need to conform, they need to assimilate, or they need to leave. Okay? And again, this is a new issue, right? Ever since we started letting in more and more people from the Middle East, it's become a problem. It's become a serious problem. Now, let me define the borders of the Middle East for you, okay? I'm talking about everything lower than Iran. Because Iran, you start getting up there, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan stuff, you're starting to talk about Persia and you're starting to talk about India and stuff like that, right? So it's a little bit different. It's still Islam, but a little bit different because Iran has a history of not being part of Islam, but that's just something that recently has taken over their country where it's extremist Islam. You understand what I'm saying? But when we have these conversations about it, they'll paint you any type of which way, but ain't right. But when you say, okay, well, maybe if we have a conversation with them, maybe they'll understand how we feel. Well, they don't want to understand how you feel. Because you look at all of these people, all of these alphabet people that supported them so much. Oh, I'm pro-Islam. I'm queers for Palestine, all of this nonsense, right? The second they got into power in Dearborn, Michigan, what they do? They took down all the pride flags. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. But these are the people that you're supporting. You're alphabet, and you're telling me that you support them when they don't support you. They want you gone. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what we're having the conversation about. But when you bring it up, when you talk truthfully, when you talk about righteousness, nobody wants to talk about it. And then they'll say, oh, well, you're saying dangerous stuff. You're saying all of these other things that are actually bad, that are causing a deterioration of unity and comprehensiveness in our nation. Is that true? Is that true? Because I'm saying that you got all of these people where you start to see them cloister together in different neighborhoods and stuff, and they want to tell you that you can't have dogs in your neighborhood because dogs are against their religion. Because dogs are against their religion. Okay, now explain it to me, because I want you to explain it to me like I'm 5, because it didn't used to be like this. We had Muslims over here. So why all of a sudden is now it's a problem? Now it's a problem because they're gaining more power. They're gaining more authority. They've got more lobbying units. They've got, what is it, the CAIR? Okay, the Islamic people, them people, the nonprofit that's doing all of this sordid nonsense, trying to influence our government when they tell you that you're supposed to keep church separate from government, but clearly you don't got to keep the mosque out of government. How you don't got to keep the mosque out of government if you want to keep the church out of government? Somebody make it make sense to me. Drop some likes, drop some shares, get this conversation out there. Make it make sense, y'all. Come on now. Who's stupid? Who's stupid? How come it's okay for Muslims to go into all of these different political positions and they can have their culture in there and they can have their religion in there, but when it comes to Christians, we can't have our religion in our religion in politics. We can't have our beliefs in politics. Can you explain that to me? How come it's good for the goose, but it ain't good for the gander? You understand what I'm saying? If it looks like a duck, maybe it's a duck because it's sure out here quacking real hard right now. So we got to see what's happening in our nation as this impacts us, as it relates and it pertains to the focus of our government. Okay, so when you get these people that have all of these foreign ideals, and again, when I'm talking about these Muslims right now, I'm largely talking about the Saracens, right? So we haven't never had these problems with the Asian Muslims. We ain't never had these problems. I was talking to somebody, I was explaining that to them the other day. They was like, what Asian Muslims? There ain't no Asian Muslims. I ain't never seen an Asian Muslim. I was like, exactly. Because they're over here and they stick to themselves and they mind them business and they don't make no issues. But what we see is as people are starting to come in, as people are starting to flow in numbers, and all of these white leftist liberals are pushing this agenda of de-Christianization of our very Christian nation, they're teaming up with them to try to tear down Christianity. Really, what is happening is they're destroying our whole country for a globalist agenda that is trying to so-called globalize the intifada. Well, what is globalizing the intifada? Globalize the overthrow of governments through Islamic culture and heritage and their way of life to overrun us as a people. Okay, so why aren't we talking about this? Why is it not an issue? Okay, somebody said, oh, well, 99% of your Congress is Christian, you dim bulb. That's what they're talking about to me right now, this people, right? That's exactly the problem. See, you're not listening, okay? You might be hearing, but you're not listening, okay? That's the problem. These people are in office. They claim to be Christian, okay? But they're pushing these agendas that are bad for Christians. Make it make sense. In New York State, where I live, the majority of the Senate, the Assembly, and stuff in here are out here talking about, oh, well, they're Christian. Okay, cool. But if that's the case, how come we got anti-alphabet hate bills? We got anti-Semitic hate bills. We got anti-Asian hate bills, but we ain't got no anti-Christian hate bill. Why is that? We're the protection for Christians. On top of that, they say that they're for black people. I ain't seen not word one of a bill for the protection of the defamation of black Americans in there. Can you make it make sense? So either you stick by what you tell me that you for and what you support, or you're full of malarkey. And this is really, really bad. And then they try to be like, oh, well, you know, this and that, and we got to be nice to everybody else. Why? Why we got to be nice to them? They being nice to us? And what is being nice to us? Working to force a change in our culture and in our society so that we conform to what they believe that society should look like, so that we will make exceptions to them? Can you explain that to me? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? They want to be over here. Cool. You want to be over here. They want to be Muslims. They want to be over here. Okay, I hear you. You want to keep your religion over here. They want you not to have dogs because dogs are against their religion. They want you to make sure that you have halal options at schools because of their religion. Bring your own food. That's what the Jews do. The Jews don't give us problems like that. Yeah, we might have our own other issues with them, but they don't give us them type of problems. They stick to themselves. They really make their own food. They don't tell us that we got to provide for them. If they come out to an event, they bring their own food. You understand what I'm saying? They don't never make us conform for that. What are we doing here? Okay? This is something that's real serious. You said you're very frustrated as well. Well, it's something to be frustrated about. It's something to be upset about. You know, and I really generally try to go a little bit light on this issue, but a couple of things have been coming to me the last couple of days, and it's really started to been bothering me, right? Like it's burrowing into my soul that it's such a very serious problem. You understand what I'm saying? Where are the Christians going over to Muslim countries demanding that they change, saying that they're going to overthrow their government? And the worst thing is that these people have been here so long in our country, a lot of them that are Muslims. They've been born here, right? So you would think, okay, well, they've been born here, so they have more of a allegiance to our nation. They should have more of a fealty to our nation. They should believe in our nation. Bet. Okay, they're Muslim. They live in our country. They should love our country the way that it is. They shouldn't be trying to change it to some Islamic country. Bet. Cool. Now, how are they not actually standing up against all of these people that are here talking about overthrowing our country? You're not standing up against the Islamists. You're Muslim, but you won't say anything against the Islamists. Can you make it make sense to me? I thought you wanted I thought you wanted us to really acknowledge things, and then they'll tell you, oh, well, that's not part of the religion. That's not part of they're just extremists. No, it is part of the religion. Oh, it's the religion of peace. Where is it the religion of peace? It's not the religion of peace. That's a whole lie. The religion was founded on massive violence. Muhammad had a revelation from some demon in the desert, and then he went back to the town that he was at, and he went and he killed everybody that refused to conform to Islam, his new religion that he made up because a demon told him so. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing? Like, you gonna lie to me and tell me that that is a religion of peace? The religion was started by massive death and extermination of those who would not believe in it. That is the first action of the religion, of the founding of the religion. And then it proceeds to death and destruction as Muhammad went on his march throughout his whole area, killing off anybody that would not convert. There's a very stark difference between Christianity and Islam when it comes to that. Okay? Christianity has never been that way when it comes to Islam, right? You don't see Christians going over to Muslim countries trying to take over their countries, okay? The only time, and somebody might say, oh, well, the Crusades, they were trying to take over those Muslim countries. No, all of that was Christian land. The whole Middle East was Christian land. Return the Middle East to Christianity. Okay? Don't get me started. All of that is Christian land. What did they do? They killed up the Christians. They tried to take it over. Then they went to go take over Europe. Like, we're not going to forget that the Moors, okay, African Muslims took over Europe for 500 years. They ruled Spain and they ruled Portugal. Like, we're just going to play and pretend like that didn't happen? Like, all of a sudden, that didn't happen. That wasn't an important issue. That's not a thing that we can talk about. You understand what I'm saying? Where is this so-called religion of peace? Where is it? There is no peace in Islam. The only peace is the death of everybody else that is not going to conform to Islam. That's it. And it's very serious. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem. Then they've got these people that want to say, oh, well, hit the like button, hit the share button. Okay? This is serious, and definitely hit follow. So as we have these conversations, and yeah, somebody said and we should learn Arabic, and they want to change all the street signs and all of that. Yeah, that's what's happening in England right now. Okay, there are whole sections of in Whitechapel, where they've got all the signs are in Arabic. They got another place, all the signs are in Hindu. You understand what I'm saying? Hindi, actually, is how you say it. Are in Hindi. What are we doing? Is this what we want in our nation? We see over in England, they've got the, what do you call them? They got barber wars. Like wars, like they're out in the street. Go look it up. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Religion of peace, my hindquarters. They got over there, they got Muslims fighting Muslims for territory for barbershops. Muslims fighting Muslims for territory for halal shops. Come on now. Come on now. Where is the peace? Explain it to me. But this is what happens when they gain more power, when they get more people, and they want to try to insert themselves and tell you, oh, it's okay. And then what we have is we have these people over here that are Islamist sympathizers, right? Like the white people that don't know nothing about Islam, that ain't had no experiences with Islam except some fairy dust and lovely flowers, okay? Like, let's tell the truth and shame the devil right now. And then they're like, oh, well, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Why? Why is it good? Where is it good? Where in what world is it good? It's good for their own people? Who is it good for? I thought it was free love, and I thought it was feminism, and I thought it was gay stuff and alphabetism. The Muslims don't want any of that. They'll eradicate all of you. Like, what are we talking about? What are we doing right now? Like, you don't care about that? That's not an issue. And then I do want to talk about this real quick, 2 seconds, because what we have is in our country, in the United States of America, we've got groups like the Nation of Islam, right? Like, so the NOI, right? Like, that's American Muslims. That's not like these sand people, okay? That's not like the Persian Muslims. That's not like the Indonesian Muslims, okay? They are different. They are something that is starkly different. They are specific to the United States of America. And they're much more closer to Christian than they are to Islam, truth be told, okay? They're seen as heretics, and people are like, oh, no, they're not seen as heretics. They're seen as heretics. What do you mean? Look, the Sunni and the Shiites are up there fighting up, killing up each other. And that's the Sunni and the Shiites. One people just think that, oh, well, lineage-based stuff from Muhammad to whoever the new leader is, it shouldn't be how it is. We should democratically elect somebody who should be in charge and in power of the religion. And they killing each other up over it. Okay? You think that the Nation of Islam, which is completely separate from them, which really teaches a lot of a different doctrine than what they teach, like, you think they're going to look kindly upon them? So these are Black American Muslims. You think they're going to look kindly upon them? Look at how they treat the darkies in their sand countries. They don't like dark people. Like, what type of games are we playing? They don't like their own dark people. What type of games are we playing, really? Like, it's very concerning. It's very concerning. So what I'm saying here is, because I am pro-Christian, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want nothing to do with promoting anything that is shining any type of a positive light or trying to soften what is going on with the international takeover of Islam, because that has always been the goal of Islam, to take over completely. That's what their scriptures say. And you look at Marxism, you look at communism, you look at all these other isms, okay? You look at Marx himself, you look at Trotsky, you look at the rest of them. What was their whole push? In order for communism to really do anything, it has to be globalized. It has to be globalized. The same thing with Islam. It has to be globalized. Y'all not listening. You might hear me, but are you listening? You understand what I'm saying? Hit the like button, hit the share button, and make sure you hit follow. It's a real serious problem. It's a very serious problem and a great detriment to our fine nation. And what are we going to do about it? We're going to let it keep going? Where are the Christian protection bills? Show it to me. In the United States Senate, in the United States Congress, where are the Christian protection bills? In the New York State Assembly, in the New York State Senate, where are the Christian protection bills? Where are they? They don't exist. You're right. It is annoying. It is annoying. And worse than that, these people claim to be Christian. Stop playing in my face. What they say, don't take a piss and tell me it's raining. Because that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing right now. And the more that they change and they shift the laws in the favor of these foreign people that are coming over here, the more they dilute the history and the culture of our nation. Assimilation is the most important thing for anybody that comes to this nation. Talk to an old Puerto Rican, right? Talk to an old Cuban, right? They used to tell their children, oh, don't speak Spanish, speak English, right? Because they wanted them to assimilate and they wanted them to actually integrate more into America. Okay? And now that's gone. Now everybody got to speak Spanish. Oh, everybody should speak Spanish. No, everybody should speak American English. What are we talking about? There should be only one language in this country. It is American English. Period, point blank. All the rest of that is nonsense. And I really, honestly, thankfully, do not care how you feel. Okay? Because there's a million other countries that you can go to. Okay, 251 or whatever the actual number is. But you get what I'm saying. But as we talk about this serious thing, we can't even really have a serious conversation, can we? Because everybody wants to feel some type of way. You want to feel some type of way. I don't really care about what your feeling on this issue is. I care about the preservation of my nation because I don't have another country to go back to because this is my country and you're here trying to rewrite my country to make it look like these other countries over here. I don't want to be in them countries. I don't want to be in none of them countries. I want to be not near Muslim country. I don't even want to go visit them. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? I'm watching what's happening with Hezbollah in Lebanon right now, and I'm praying that Lebanon returns to Christianity and gets rid of Hezbollah. Okay? Because Lebanon was a Christian nation. They got a Christian president right now. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that they have a Christian president because of Hezbollah, because of all of the push of Islamification in Lebanon. You wouldn't know that. But can we have that conversation? These are the important parts of the, I guess you would say, the puzzle that are less and less talked about. But I want to hear from you what conversations you want to hear us have here. So drop some conversations that you'd like us to talk about, some topics you'd like us to talk about, so we can talk about them in the future. Another part of this whole thing that continues to bother me, right? Outside of being pro-American, outside of being pro-Christian, I'm also pro-Black. Well, why? Why is that? Well, I'm pro-American because I'm an American. I'm pro-Christian because I'm a Christian. I'm pro-Black because, well, I'm a Black American. And the fact of the matter is what we've seen the continued erasure of Black Americans by them trying to push all of these foreign melanated individuals into the concept of what Black is when they're not Black. Okay? All of these Africans, they've got their own holidays. They've got their own celebrations. That is fantastic. They have a rich, illustrious culture. God bless them. Let them keep it. Let them celebrate it. But when it comes to Black Americans, let us keep our stuff. Let us celebrate our stuff. We got a whole holiday about freeing the Black American slaves. It's called Juneteenth, and they put all of these Pan-African colors on it. These reds, these black, these greens, these yellows. When we have a flag for Juneteenth. Do you know that we have a flag for Juneteenth? Guess what the colors on the Juneteenth flag are? Red, white, and blue. Because Black Americans are American through and through. And that's what the problem is. Okay? They try to say, oh, well, these people are Black just like you. No, like Kendrick Lamar said, they're not like us. Okay? And that's not a bad thing. It's not bad at all. Thank you. And it's not bad at all. It's great that they're different. It's great and it's awesome. And I'm so thankful for them and their rich contributions, okay, of their culture in which we can actually engage with them. But please, please let us keep our own stuff. Why do we have to be erased? You understand what I'm saying? This is a problem. You don't see the Puerto Ricans during Puerto Rican Heritage Month saying, yeah, we got to let the Mexicans into Puerto Rican Heritage Month. Never that. Never that. They would never do that. Okay? And that's a problem, right? Because we as Black Americans, they want us to say, oh, well, the Jamaicans could just be Black all of a sudden, when the Jamaicans have a long history and continue to this day to tell you that they're not Black. They're not Black. The Dominicans got a whole meme online. It's they not Black, they not Black, they not Black. Me no Black. Me no Black, Poppy. Me no Black. Right? Like, why is it like that? Because it's the truth. Because this is what we are experiencing. And what people don't understand, and largely I put this on the head of these people that are these new white supremacists, which they're not even really white supremacists. They're white globalists. And that is a problem, because what it is it is a perpetuation of the globalist, anti-American, pro-Marxist, anti-Christian ideology. It's all wrapped up into one thing under the guise of uniting whiteness. But really, it's a trick. It's globalism. Don't let these people play in your face. Don't let them do it. Stand now. If we don't stand now, when will anything be able to be preserved, right? Now is the time to preserve everything. Now is the time to preserve everything. It's to preserve our culture. It's to preserve our history. It's to preserve everything. I was talking to a friend of mine. She's Jamaican, right? She's a little older. So she said, yeah, we were having this exact conversation. She's like, yeah, I know I'm not Black. She's like, but my kids, they are culturally Black. What do you mean culturally Black? You can't be culturally Black. Black is an ethnicity. They can't, and if you're not culturally Black, how are your kids culturally Black? Make it make sense. You understand? Like, they've got Caribbean Heritage Month. They've got Caribbean Heritage Month. They've got Jamaican Independence Day. They've got all of the things that are uniquely Jamaican. They've got their Jamaican restaurants. You understand? They've got all of this rich culture and heritage. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love Jamaican food. You understand what I'm saying? I like Jamaican food a little bit more than I like other Caribbean food. Don't tell my Puerto Rican friends. But I laugh because it's very serious. It's very serious. And I bring it up because it's the continued erasure of, well, being American. And this is why I say Black American. Somebody says, well, I was born here, but my family is, what'd you say? Your mom is Black American and her dad is Jamaican. So that makes her half and half, right? So that's a little bit of a different story when we're having that type of a conversation. So I hear you. But being American doesn't change your heritage, and it doesn't change your ethnicity if you are American as a nationality. So that is a very stark distinction, and it is a great blessing that you can come from anywhere in the world and you can become what'd you say? Yeah, that's what you said. Yep, that's what I thought you said. It's a great blessing that we have a nation where you can come from anywhere in the world and you can become a citizen and have American nationality. But one of the things that we also have an issue with is multiple allegiance or non-allegiance to the actual United States of America. That's another problem. Look at all of these Chinese people that keep getting arrested for spying. You understand? Like, that's a serious issue. But we can't talk about that, right? Kathy Hochul had 3 of her staff people arrested for spying for China. Governor Newsom, what was it? One of his deputies had a lady, I think it was a secretary or like one of her comms people, who was a spy for China. Eric Swalwell, who is a congressman, okay, was in bed with a Chinese spy for years. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, well, she was a Chinese spy. I'm using air quotes. She is a noted, on record Chinese spy, not something that we're thinking about, not something that we're just putting together. something that is 100% facts. If somebody said for decades, yeah, for decades, for decades. And we're watching the deterioration of our nation internally because there are other countries that are usurping us. We've got, like I said, we've got Islam from these sand countries, these Saracen countries that's coming over here trying to take us over. We got the Chinese coming over here trying to take us over. And we got 50 other different countries that are in here trying to influence our country, our Congress people, for whatever are the benefits of their own personal nation. And we got to do something better because this ain't working. So let's do better. Let's try to refocus on what we can do to preserve our nation, return our nation to Christ, and focusing on the direction that we need to go so that we can have another 250 years of prosperity. Because if not, we will fall as a nation and we will suffer as a people. And this is why we need to turn back to Christ. And this is why not only do we need to turn back to Christ, we need to put Christ at the center of everything. This whole push talking about, oh no, we can't have Christianity anywhere. All of you guys can jump out a boat, okay? That's a whole fact. Christianity founded this nation. Our laws, our constitution, they can only be held by a moral, virtuous Christian nation, Christian-led nation. That's it. Because we look at the left right now and what? They're God-forsaken. What did Kamala Harris say at that one rally where the guy said Christ is king? She said, oh, you're at the wrong rally. Huh. She said, you're at the wrong rally. I guess Christ isn't king in the Democrat world. So that shows you what they're about. That shows you directly what they're about. And these are some people that are supposed to be leaders of our nation. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'll tell you exactly what we should do. And then I'm going to fly out of here. So hit the like button, hit the share button, get the message out here, make sure you hit subscribe. What we need to do is every single church across our nation needs to start getting active and standing on scripture and standing on the word. We need to start rebuking all of this pushed new age culture, all of this alphabetism and pride, okay, which continues to be pushed and propagated. It is a very, very serious issue because all of it goes back to being against God. You understand? All of it needs to go back to being against God because they don't want God. And somebody said, oh, we need to keep your religion out of politics. No, you need to get out of my country. That's how I really feel. Ask me how I really feel. That's how you feel. Get out the country. Because our country was founded on Christianity. And I'm not trying to hear nothing that you're on about. I'm not trying to hear you. I ain't trying to listen to you. Okay? You got to go. We need to keep religion more so at the forefront of everything. Because our Constitution mentions God. I live in New York State, one of the most liberalist states in the nation. And our Constitution for New York State, not the federal Constitution, but yes, the federal Constitution. My Constitution for New York State mentions God right in the Constitution. Did you know that in the preamble to the New York State Constitution? Did you know that? You probably didn't know that. Almost every constitution of the original 13 colonies and most of the ones after that all mention God internally in them. So if we're not returning back to Christ, if we're not making sure that we stand on Christian values, we will lose our nation. And that's why the churches need to get more active. We've got these people that are in office that call themselves Christian, but they are not holding fast to Christian values. That is very problematic. We need to raise up leaders from outside of our church and outside of our churches to put them into office. Not these crazy people that come around to our churches and stuff when it's election time. Actual, real, true Christians that stand on scripture that aren't going to go for any of this nonsense. That's who needs to be put in office. The Bible is very clear about us raising our leaders to be put over us from our own churches. That's what needs to happen. This is a problem that we're not focusing on right now. And we need to make sure that we get on the ball. Because otherwise, all is going to be lost. All is going to be lost. And these people that are like, oh, well, we don't want religion in politics or whatever the case is. What do you want? The devil? You want the devil in politics? That's what you want? You want Islam in politics? What is it that you actually want? Because we got a lot of these so-called atheists and these so-called agnostics out here that worship anti-God, anti-Christian nonsense and Satanry. These people essentially are members of the Church of Satan, and many of them don't even know it. They promote all of this stuff that is deteriorating our nation, that is deteriorating our economy, that is deteriorating our culture, and that is deteriorating and stealing our future away from our children. It's time for us to stand. I'll catch you guys later. Be blessed and be well. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. I'll catch you later. Take action.